Oh, thank you all so much for joining us here at BFA. We're excited to bring back another live. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're referencing from. If you are watching in the replay, then still make sure that you're commenting, because each comment will get you into the draw for an Amazon gift card. So we're excited to be here. Rebecca, I'm so glad you made it. How are you feeling today? We're glad you're here. We are so happy to have this awesome platform. Rebecca's here in Oregon. Dana and I are saying hello from Arizona. We're glad to have you here. This is an amazing platform, and we are excited to welcome back to our screen Lana Christian.
Hi there, everybody.
And where are you coming from, Lana?
Rochester, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Very awesome.
Southeastern Minnesota.
What's the weather like there today?
It's actually pretty warm. It's like 78.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so very unusual for Minnesota this time of year.
Unseasonable there.
It'll change.
Yeah. When do you start getting like the leaves turning and all that?
Already started this week because we were down in the 40s for, several days in a row. So yesterday I saw the first orangey colors on the leaves.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty spectacular, I bet.
Yeah.
Very
I
good.
had to check just to see what our weather is too, and it's
what are you at?
97.
Oh, shut up! Oh my goodness, I couldn't do
can't
that.
tell. I'm inside.
I can't do that. That's why I moved from Texas to Minnesota.
That's funny. I'm
just the opposite. I'm real good here. And it's cooler where Naomi is, isn't it, Naomi?
Yeah, it's 87 up here, but I had my doors open most of the morning, so it has some real cool down in the night, and it's real nice. So representing for the mountains of Globe, Arizona.
There you go.
No thanks, Dana. Yeah.
Not even if you're swimming, Rebecca.
I mean, I used to be in Phoenix area until 8 years ago, and I think I've unacclimated, so it's pretty bad.
I think you do acclimate, yeah, because it really doesn't bother me at all. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right. Well, welcome back to BFA. We are making sure that each of these comments do get you entered into a drawing for an Amazon gift card, and the drawing will be open through the weekend. Dana and I are off to a conference to sign books this weekend, so we will probably be closing that up first thing Monday. But make sure you're commenting and letting us know and interacting, because each of that does affect your entry chances. And we also like to point out that Charity is running our book club this month. It's called Trust and Trickery by Christine Dillon. So if you love reading biblical era fiction and love talking about it, Charity usually posts like a picture of the cover. We try to pin it to the top too. But if you have read Trust and Trickery, we'd love to have your input on that. Usually it's the last week of the month that we have interaction on that. So make sure you're checking back.
Let me just mention that I had not read that, and I grabbed it off of Amazon. I can't remember whether it was on Kindle Unlimited or if I just paid for it, but it was very inexpensive either way. And I hadn't started, and Charity was asking who had, and I said, oh, all right, I better start. This is terrible. I haven't even started. And so I committed to reading a chapter that night, and I read 3 or 4 chapters because
Wow.
it just grabbed me and it just trundled me right along. And I've really enjoyed it. I've been extremely busy this month, but still I've made time to read that every night, and I'm really enjoying it. So I think if you haven't read it, you should. So,
And so this is Light of the Nations series. So what group of people does this one cover?
oh, I'm talking about Trust and Trickery. Is it called Light of the Nations? I thought that was.
I think the whole series is.
Okay. This
right.
is the
Carol's
Hivites. I thought it was the Hittites, but no, it's the Hivites.
And it's both?
Very interesting. But
is there both Hivites and Hittites?
Yes, there is. And I don't think I should explain who the Hivites are because it would maybe be a major spoiler for a lot of people if I told you something a little more. We do have a book club, Rebecca. We are the book club.
Yeah.
It's in BFA. Go look on the front page where we link things, and you'll find it linked there. And we're reading the book Trust and Trickery. And we're going to discuss it at the end of the month. And we just started using a hashtag to make it easier for people to find. So you'll find that hashtag there.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know, something clever. Charity came up with something clever on that. So is there a Bible character that you can share that's like a side character on that, or?
There's a Bible character, and I'm not sharing that either.
Okay.
You'll find out in the first chapter or 2, and yes, it would be a spoiler to tell a couple of different things. I think maybe the Bible character is unnamed, but if I tell you anything, you're going to know. It's great. Just read it.
Okay. Good deal. Let's get started on this one. Do you want to do the bio, Dana?
Yes. Lana Christian is an award-winning author in business and creative writing. Since 2021, she has won a dozen awards for her biblical fiction and nonfiction. Lana is a science and history geek who loves hiking, secret staircases, and I may not pronounce this right, but I'm going for it, masala chai tea. How was that?
That's perfect.
Okay. Her greatest desire is that her stories will immerse readers in another place and time they may know little about, but come away with an experience that exceeds their expectation. Check out Lana's website at lanachristian.com, where you will find more information about her writing life, plus free resources and a short story. I personally really enjoy her newsletters and blog. They are always historically interesting as well as inspiring.
Well, thank you.
Oh, welcome back, Lana. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So if you haven't heard the buzz about Lana's books, she is on book 2 of a 4-book series, and it's The Wise Men. Like, we know what, 2 verses about the wise men, maybe?
12.
I'm sorry, how many?
12.
12. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Matthew 2, verses 1 through 12.
Okay, yeah. So this is, yeah. Oh, we got secret staircases again. Okay, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to multitask. Yeah, so we're on book 2. It's called Survival Secrets, and of the Magi Encounters. And so if you haven't caught on to that, you definitely want to read book 1 first, which is called New Star. It's a very continuous story. But I'm going to read Survival Secrets blurb. As Parthia's powers shift to its young half-blood Persian Roman king and his ambitious Roman mother, power in Herod's kingdom shifts to 3 of his sons. Against that backdrop, those who believe in Messiah, as the prophecies foretold, are in increasing danger. The wise men's refusal to bring Herod news of the prophesied child king forces them to flee for their lives. Their enemies, the environment, and the secrets of the wise men harbor test their newfound faith in ways they could never have imagined. The risk and cost of knowing about Yeshua has already exacted a toll on the wise men. Akilah and others he cares about realize the only one who can truly help them navigate life's storms is the God they cannot see and of whom they know little. Dun, dun, dun. So we have I'll make sure that's yeah. So it's fantastic. I had the opportunity to read an early go of it, and yeah, it's just it really picks up where we left off. It's page turning and so interesting historically. Yes, absolutely. And then Demi just finished New Star, highly recommend. And as Dana says, just read it. Yes,
Demi.
Absolutely. So you will be ready for Survival Secrets, Demi, because you're gonna need this one to follow up on the last one for sure. Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, how you spend your time when you're not writing, and your writing process, Lana.
Okay. Well, I live in southeastern Minnesota, and I actually do like cold winters. When I'm not writing, I like to hike and I like to create new recipes because I need to eat a special autoimmune paleo diet. And haven't had a whole lot of chance to do much hiking or recipe making either with what's going on with the book writing, and I still do hold down a day job. So that day job happens to also be writing, but a very different kind of writing. So it's in the medical writing field, and that's very technical. And so between those two writing careers, I don't have the kind of disciplined writing regimen that a lot of people would say you need if you read a craft book about writing. I can't do a certain number of words per day or whatever. That would make me crazy. So anyway, thank you, Demi.
Isn't that perfect?
But I do discipline myself to do something every day related to writing, whether it's actually writing a scene or whether it's researching or doing plotting or character development or book marketing. I make sure that, I don't end the day until I've done something related to writing. And there are days when I can devote big chunks of time to writing on my books, and I make sure I try to take advantage of that too.
That's awesome. Yeah. So real quick, sorry to interrupt, but real quick before we get too far into this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, get out your purses. Our game will be purse scavenger hunts again. So this is your opportunity to get it. There will be points. It's going to be fun. So make sure you're grabbing that. And then when our game pops up later, we will have fun with that.
Well, okay, it's my turn, I think. So tell us why you chose to write historical fiction set in Bible times, also known as biblical fiction, and have you also written in other genres?
Okay, I'll answer that second part first. Yes, I have. And yes, I will continue to write in other genres, but biblical fiction is my big love. And so that's what I'm going to write the most of, and certainly will be doing the most of for several years to come. So to answer the first part of your question, as Christians, we have the opportunity to convey true hope to a readership. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's such an awesome privilege. It's something that the world so needs today. And Demi, I write historical fiction as well, and I write devotionals, so that's like biblical nonfiction, and I've got a contemporary version of a retelling of an Old Testament story in the works.
Awesome.
But those are all kind of like just simmering right now while I work on my series. So yeah, I'm totally committed to getting this 4-book series done. But back to the question of why I write biblical fiction, especially in the first century. We can look back and we can read the whole Bible and know the whole story about Christ and the purpose of his coming and everything like that, and understand the true hope that it brings. But that wasn't really obvious to people in the first century, especially if they weren't Jewish. And in the case of the wise men, they were piecing together these prophecies and little bits and pieces from the Old Testament. And gosh, what did it take for them to understand all this sort of thing? We know they didn't have access to all the prophecies. So it's kind of amazing to me that they had the faith to move forward and, do something that was very counterintuitive and countercultural, and, to find the true hope that lie in the truth of Christ. So that's a real big reason why I write biblical fiction.
I love it. So 2 authors, or 1, living or dead, who you'd like to chat with and why?
I love I never say her name right. Madeleine L'Engle. She is my all-time favorite author, and I read A Wrinkle in Time back in 5th or 6th grade. It still is my all-time favorite book. I love all her books, but A Wrinkle in Time is truly my most favorite book ever. And I just love everything about her. I would want to spend a whole day talking to her because she endured so much hardship in her life, both personally and professionally. And she had to write for financial reasons. So, when you think about that kind of pressure, and so more than 24 publishers turned down A Wrinkle in Time. And they said it was too unusual. They didn't like that there was a female protagonist. She got heat that there wasn't enough of a Christian message in it. She got heat that there was too much of a Christian message in it. And, on and on and on. And, at one point when she was about 40 years old, she almost gave up writing. So I would love to talk to her about her writing process, how she persevered through all of that discouragement, and, how she created such amazing books that both adults and children can read and get so much out of. And I want to actually read you a quote or two from her.
I love her too. She's
just so amazing. Another thing that the publishers didn't like was that she tried to have too much complex ideas in her books. And to that, she answered, "You have to write the book that wants to be written. And if the book would be too difficult for grown-ups, then you write it for children."
Yeah. So, and children get that book for certain.
Yeah, it's great. So I just sit at her feet and soak up everything she could tell me if she was still alive.
How many in the group have also read Madeleine L'Engle? I'm just curious.
Demi has. Rebecca needs to read it. I need to read it.
It's amazing. Yeah, the movies fall short of the book.
Oh, yeah.
Both of the versions of the movies fall short of the book.
Yeah, the book.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And her other books, even though they're not as well known, they're all still really amazing. And because I'm a science geek and she incorporates science along with the fantasy, that's just really great for me.
I bet.
Barbara would like tips on perseverance, and she read her a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fun.
Well, many have enjoyed your previous book, New Star, as I have.
Okay.
Without spoilers, can you talk a little bit about where New Star ends and where Survival Secrets begins?
Sure. Well, New Star ends shortly after the wise men find Jesus, and they are warned in a dream not to go back to Herod. And that takes us up through the first half of verse 12 of Matthew chapter 2. And New Star ends there. Survival Secrets picks up with the last half of Matthew 2, verse 12, that says, after they got warned in the dream, they went home a different route. And that's just hardly any words to describe what happened to them. You know, but there's just so much packed into those words, because if you look at what was going on in history, and if you know what Herod would have done when he realized that they weren't coming back to Jerusalem to inform him about the Christ child, he would have sent out Roman troops to, and there were troops already patrolling all the Roman roads every 10 miles. There were these watchtowers, there were special Roman troops. He would have sent out couriers to warn all those people on all those Roman roads to be on the lookout for the wise men. So they could not travel home by any of the roads that they came on. And it wasn't a straight shot from Jerusalem back to Persia. They had to go up and over the Fertile Crescent. So that was almost 1,000-mile journey when they didn't have detours like running away from Herod. So, and then you look at the geography of the area. You look at the desert that was beyond the Fertile Crescent. You look at the mountains on either side. And, oh, thank you, Rebecca. You know, all of a sudden, when you take into account Roman sentries, geography, all this other stuff, that really limits where they could go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, what direction they could go in and how they could get there, and, you know, what that entailed, because it wasn't like, oh, you know, we can't go on a, you know, state highway, so we're going to
take a flight and we'll take a different layover.
So like a, you know, a state route instead of the interstate. So that's really, you know, and in a bigger picture sense, you know, once you place your belief in God, he's going to test you to see if you're serious about it. And so the first book shows the wise men's faith in putting their trust in this God they didn't know a whole lot about. And the second book, Survival Secrets, shows how God's going to test them and how he tests us. And, you know, what are we going to be able to weather, and how are we going to handle life's hardships? So that's what Survival Secrets is all about.
I really like that. And when you think about the kinds of tests, just like you said, that God puts in front of us, you realize that you may pass all of yesterday's tests with flying colors, finally, but then comes today's test, and it's a whole new ballgame.
Right, right. Yeah. And the things that you might think were, you know, oh gosh, that was the hardest thing, then there's the next thing that's even harder. So
yeah. How did I know how you came up with the title Survival Secrets?
Well, the whole concept of secrets is really central to the book, because number one, the wise men are on the run, so they're renegades, and they have to maintain their anonymity, and they are concerned about saying anything about Jesus, because that would endanger both them and Jesus and his family. Right. So there are those secrets to keep. There are other secrets that they need to keep that I won't go into because that would be a big spoiler. And the fact that they were trying to survive long enough to get to a place of safety, the concept of survival and secrets came together in the book title.
I love it. Which character do you feel was the most difficult for you to write?
Well, Herod Antipas is not a nice guy. He's not quite as bad as his father, Herod the Great, but he was difficult to write, not just because he was a bad guy, but because the fact that he didn't do as great things as Herod the Great did, I had to make sure I didn't just write him as a pale imitation of his father. I had to make sure that he was his own person and that I understood why he was doing what he was doing. And so I had to dig into a lot of history to figure that out and see if there was anything he aspired to that his father had never tried. I had to figure out, why he chose this building project or whatever instead of something else. And, was he in some ways worse than his father? So yes, it was hard. I don't like crawling around in bad guys' heads.
I don't blame you. No, you just kind of feel icky.
But you need to do that to write believable characters and to make all their motivations plausible. So, yeah, you do that. And you don't do it right before bed, though.
Well, I gave this real broad-based question about telling us one or two interesting things about survival secrets. I don't know what that is.
That's my phone. I thought I had it on silent. So it's going to turn off in a second.
Okay. I really loved all your answers, but I kind of wanted to focus on the one about, so I asked for some interesting things about the inventions. Tell us about the inventions that appear.
Oh, well, that's me being a science geek. I try to include a couple interesting things about first century inventions in each of my books. And I try to make sure that happens organically, that it actually contributes to the plot. And I do that for a couple reasons. First of all, it makes for interesting reading. And second of all, I am amazed at how advanced civilizations were back then, and we didn't realize it. And there are inventions that actually were first invented way back in the first century, even though they may not have found the kind of applications that we use them for today. And so I have a couple of them in the book. And if I say anything about them, it'll probably be a spoiler, but you'll want to pick them out. There's one.
Fun.
Yeah,
something
there's
to look forward to.
Yeah, there's I think chapters 57 and 60. I wrote that down to make sure I didn't forget that. But
that sounds
57
right.
and 60.
Another thing that you talked a little bit about is something very near and dear to all our hearts, and that's libraries. So tell us a little bit about the library you included.
Okay, well, if you read Survival Secrets, you'll get to find out what the inside of the Great Library of Alexandria looked like and walk around in there. So that's really cool. And know that it wasn't just a library. It was like a whole college campus.
That's fun.
It was, the library, it was research facilities, it was lodging for the scholars. There was not quite an amphitheater, but there were outdoor lecture areas. There were botanical gardens. There was a zoo. There was all kinds of stuff there. And it was just a huge jewel of learning, and where everybody in the world wanted to come and learn. So when you read Survival Secrets, you'll get to walk around all those grounds.
That will be fun. Since we can't really walk around those grounds, it'll be fun to do it in our minds. So,
Yeah.
one more thing I wanted to ask you about, because it's really fun to hear about the desperate attempts to fix it that writers have to go through when a beta reader, or a critique group member points out an error.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there you are. So
Yeah.
tell us about that.
We want to know that you're human, mess up like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. That's the beauty and the risk of writing biblical fiction. You do all this research, you think you've got it all right. You check all your timelines and everything, and then you have a really savvy beta reader who, this person happened to have written a book set in the country where I wrote about a city that actually hadn't been built yet.
Ooh.
And that city had been in existence for a long time, but in the first century, it did not exist as we know it today. It hadn't been built like that until about the 4th century. So I spent 2 frantic days doing research to see if, and this was a really important city because it was a port city on the Nile River. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do a major rewrite if I can't fix this. And I found, after I did a lot of digging,
You're like, just throw a dock somewhere on the...
there was another city that was much older that existed in almost the same spot as the city that we know of today that was built in the 4th century. And so thank God, I didn't have to do a major rewrite. I changed the name of the city. I called my illustrator, changed it on the map, and then it got fixed. So
that's cute. It is, thank God. I had a very similar instance, and it was, God helping me through that, because I would have had to rewrite half of a book.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. So
that's
anyway, that's
a big gut punch when that happens.
Great story.
So what would you have your readers take away from Survival Secrets?
Well, first of all, that faith never walks in a straight line, and that it's okay to have doubts, especially when you're going through a tough time, because God's big enough to handle all that. And if we step back and give God space to work in and through our hardships, He's going to show up in ways we never could have imagined. And, that's a hard truth that the wise men learned through some really significant hardships.
Very good. I just want to mention, because Rebecca mentioned earlier that she would like to hear more about your devotional writing, but I just wanted to point out that I think each one of your blogs is a very nice, long devotional. You start with something historical or interesting, you tie it in with the Bible, and you come back with inspiration for our lives. So I call that a devotional, but if you want to talk a little more about the devotion, go ahead too.
Oh, well, I can just mention the blogs real briefly. They are devotional-y. They follow along with my love of history and making it, relevant, and tying the history and the Bible and practical application all together. So collectively, my blogs are called Encouragement from Living History. And if you go to my website, there's a section for my blog, and you can sign up free to get those if you want to. And one of the blogs that actually happens to be related to the wise men was a Selah Award finalist this year. So that was pretty cool.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Encouragement from Living History is the blog name. And here is Just thinking. Here is Lana's website that you want to make sure that you're getting on. What about symbolism or Easter eggs, or without spoilers? No spoilers.
Right.
Like, what can we be looking for as like, this is my clever nod right here?
Oh, yeah. Well, the biggest thing probably is the wise men's names. And you'll notice that they aren't the traditional names that you hear at church on Christmas Eve or something. Their names mean the word wise, and those are actual names that were in use in the first century in the native language of each of the wise men. And so in my books, they come from different areas. And so in their first language, their name means the word wise. So that was intentional. And there's only one other character in all of the books in the series whose name also means wise. And I'm going to leave that there so you can figure that out.
Okay.
But that's very appropriate and symbolic that person's name also means that. And then beyond that, there is symbolism in some of the things that Akilah uses for navigation. And so those have double meanings, and certain articles of clothing and accessories that they have symbolic meanings, especially as they either wear them or lose them or have to sell them or whatever. That symbolizes certain things that are happening in the book.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have this question down anywhere, and I'm going to ask it. And if you don't want to answer it, since it's not here, just say
That's fine.
No. But about the camels, I mean, wasn't there some extra special research about the camels, or at least one of the camels?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I first started writing this series, the first three things I researched were probably in this order: camels. What the heck was the star, which pertains obviously to book one. And, I did a ton of research about the wise men, of course, but I learned all kinds of stuff about camels. And camels obviously are crucial to their survival because they're not only transportation, but as we'll see in Survival Secrets, they're also a form of protection. And so I read all kinds of stuff about camels to organically include that in the book.
Did you read about how they will eat cactus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can eat thorns, they can eat thistles, they can eat all kinds of stuff that you'd never think they could eat.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't? Yeah. Does that sound horrible? Like, if you look up pictures of them doing it, it's like, it just makes you cry because it's like their mouth should be bleeding. What are they doing?
Yeah, but they aren't. And they've got all these awesome adaptations so that they can do that sort of thing when food is scarce.
Yeah.
Demi wants to know if you've ever ridden a camel.
Have you ever?
No, and I do dearly want to. Dana, I think you have.
Yeah. You have?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Caitlin, thanks for joining us.
It was great. They are sort of like riding a horse, except their legs are longer. So, when a horse makes you go like that, a camel really makes you go like that. And they smell nice and they're clean when they don't have to be dirty. And they're very soft. So I learned a few things like that. So,
where did you ride a camel, Dana?
At the Phoenix Zoo.
Did you?
There you go.
Nice.
Yes.
It
wasn't scary, Rebecca. Riding a mule can be scary, but no, camels are all right.
Yeah, they got so much personality, and
That's fun.
Yeah. So it's time for you to read a little bit from your book.
oh, okay.
I believe you have a scene that you've selected.
Yeah, and I'm gonna read that on screen here.
Let me, real quick, just another announcement. If you're just joining us or for the replay, make sure you have your purse after the reading. We will be doing a purse scavenger hunt. Sorry.
We made Lana even run and get her purse.
You don't want to know.
In the other room. Go get it.
Yeah, my purse is like a survival kit.
That's good. You might get a lot of points then.
There we go. Okay. Well, I'm going to read just the first part of chapter 1, and chapter 1 is titled The Good Lie. And this takes place somewhere in the Wilderness of Paran in 3 BC. So remember that the wise men are on the run. And so it starts out with Akilah thinking, and was heading to Egypt the right choice? Akilah rimmed his soup bowl with his thumb. The king's highway would have taken his caravan from Jerusalem all the way back to the Euphrates River, but traveling home on any Roman road was out of the question. With mathematical precision, Roman watchtowers measured those roads. Special Roman imperial troops manned those posts, scouting for runaway slaves and other undesirables. Akilah and his colleagues had become undesirables the moment they decided not to return to Herod with news of the eternal child king they had found. Herod undoubtedly had wasted no time dispatching Roman relays with orders for those troops to intercept the Magi and drag them to Jerusalem in chains. The caravan might have hazarded sea travel from Akilah if they hadn't crossed paths with one of Herod's scouts and some Nabataeans there. No, heading northwest towards Egypt was their only option. Akilah had to keep his caravan safe. Safety, what a precious commodity. Akilah shivered to think of the consequences if he failed at his task. He sipped his bowl of watery soup. Barren ground had already replaced Ailah's lush beauty. Thankfully, today's unusually cool temperature had allowed the caravan to press on longer than usual until grumbling stomachs forced them to stop for the day's second meal, a diluted version of the morning meal. They wouldn't be able to cover this much ground every day. Who knew what challenges this wilderness held for them? Quelling the caravan's fear of the unknown would be an ongoing effort. Akilah's head servant Hakim circled the campfire and bowed. Master, now would be a good time to address everyone. Akilah nodded and rose. We regret that urgent business took us away from lovely Akilah, he started. What business would take us into the wilderness, one servant said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Akilah grimaced inwardly. Taria, a force to reckon with privately. Business that must be kept secret from certain people. Why wouldn't you tell us that business until we were too far from Akilah to turn back on foot, Taria said, his voice rising. Now we're your captives. That's not true. The servant's unruliness rose like swells in a storm. Logic wouldn't win them over. Something more visceral had to move them. You have a right to know why we're not going home yet, Akilah said. It relates to why we went to Jerusalem and what happened there. Everyone's eyes bored into him. It's a good story, Akilah added. The servants liked stories. Maybe that would pique their interest. In Persia, my colleagues and I studied a star that foretold the birth of a child who would be an eternal ruler and the savior of the world. Sniggers and guffaws erupted. Inconceivable, yes? But Jewish prophecies over hundreds of years pointed to the birth of a unique person. Not a king born into royalty, but someone we could relate to. Silence descended on the camp. We traveled from Persia to Jerusalem to find that child. And we did. Akilah's throat tightened. But some people wanted to harm him, especially King Herod. He has a habit of killing people when he considers them a threat to his throne. Herod commanded us to report to him when we found the child. We did not. Akilah shifted in place. We could not betray the child and his family. Our disobedience to Herod made us targets of his wrath. We couldn't go home the way we came because that's the first place his soldiers would have looked for us. Akilah paused to gauge the servants' reactions. Their silence thickened like gathering fog. You defied a king? One servant finally spoke, slowly, as if testing his words. Yes. Is the child safe? Akilah exhaled a shaky breath. I hope so. His answers seemed to fuel other servants' courage to ask questions. Do you know where the child is now? No. Is Herod still hunting you? I have every reason to believe so. Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, intrigue, danger.
That's right. Intrigue and danger.
You know, I was going to say, tell us where your readers can connect with you, but I wonder if maybe when we're doing Naomi, I don't think I can type in the comments, but maybe you could type in there some of her, like her website, lanachristian.com, Lana Christian, one word.
Yeah, absolutely. So lanachristian.com, and you can find, be sure that you're signing up to her newsletter, and then you'll keep abreast of all of the upcoming news. And does the blog go out on your newsletter too, or is that something different?
Yeah, if they do one sign up, they get early access to my blogs. They get the free newsletter. They get a free e-short that relates to the book. Awesome. And, every now and then, maybe a giveaway, never any junk or ads. So
that's fantastic.
Is your website, does it have all the social media sites clearly on the website somewhere?
They're at the very bottom of every blog, but a lot of people don't scroll down that far. So I'm on
they're
X.
a little hard to find is all. And so that's.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter or X as @LanaC So capital LANA, capital C WRITES. And that's right. And I'm on Facebook as Biblical and Historical Fiction. That's all smushed together as one word.
Awesome. Awesome. Good. Well, we will be sure to look into that so we can get all of the goodies. It sounds like all of the treasure trove of ancient historical fun things to learn.
Oh, and one other thing, if you sign up for my newsletter, that also unlocks the resources section of my website. And the resources section contains like short Bible studies that go along with each book. It contains a book club kit for each book.
Awesome.
Recipes that are called Eat Like a Persian. And it contains, I don't have a lot of this content up yet, but it contains homeschool topics as well. So depending on what age, your kids are, like there's stuff about camels, there's stuff about politics.
That's fun.
And that sort of thing.
Well, that's really cool. I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. So make sure you're signing up for Lana's website for her newsletter and her blog and her recipes and her homeschool goodies. And
one sign up does all of that.
One of that, yeah. Historical
just sign up and you get all of it.
Twinkling and the treasure of devotionals. I love that. So now is the portion where we're going to play a quick game of purse scavenger hunt. So go ahead and get your purses. If you are watching now, make sure that you are commenting yes, or I have this, or the points. There's different point scales. So make sure if you care about your points, you got to keep track of your own points, ladies. I'm just saying, because I can't handle that. But there are different point scales on this. So we'll just like rush through some of these. If you have them, make sure you're commenting to say that, yes, you do have this, and then keep track of your points. So I guess you'll need a pen too. So if that is not in your purse, I'm trying to hide that. Unhide it. What am I doing? I think I'm hovering over it. So
no, I don't know. I think I just threw a monkey wrench in the works by trying to test and see if I could.
Can you do it now? That's awesome.
Well, but didn't I mess up everybody else? Everybody else went away when I did that. And I don't see my remark out there. So
and I can't, for some reason, I'm not being able to log on Facebook right now. So I cannot do comments, I don't think.
If you put comments in our comment over on the right-hand side, Dana and Lana, if you go over to the right-hand side.
Okay. Gotcha. Comments. Sorry. That'll do it.
Get there, and I can cut and paste if it doesn't. Work.
Okay.
Demi has 6 pens. Do you get points? Well, we haven't started. I'm just saying. Yes, you can have 6 points, Demi. A point for each pen. That's funny. Okay.
I don't think I own 6 pens.
Is it a pen? Okay.
No, that was just like the pre-thing. Like, keep track of your own score, get a pen.
I cannot do a comment. Trust me. So
here's a private chat. Here's Dana's testing. Do you want to I gotcha.
Well, no, I don't remember how I did that.
You just enter it in that little box at the bottom right, Dana.
So it goes right on top of somebody else's name. Okay.
I don't think they all write, however. Demi. All right. Yeah. So it looks like if you want to say something, Lana or Dana, you go to the private chat over on the right-hand side. And then if I'm paying attention, then I can cut and paste it and bring it over.
Okay. No problem.
Private chat. Okay.
Yeah, that's I think where you put it. No, we're Demi's getting ahead of me here. All right, here we go. I'm just going to dive right into it. If you have, this is for 1 point. If you have a breath mint in your purse, that counts for 1 point. Breath mint.
No.
Breath mint. Nothing? Any sort of mintiness. Okay, we got 1 point for Dana. I used to have one. I've been on vacation, so I switched around my purses. So I don't know if it's just Excedrin in my purse now for my husband, or if it's. Oh no, I got a breath mints in here. I got breath mints. All right. Yes for Barbara. Barbara gets a point. No breath mints for Demi.
Nope.
Yes for Dana. 1 for Rebecca. Anything, Lana?
I don't care that stuff. Sorry.
No, sorry. All right. This is also for 1 point. We're gonna do. We're gonna go with aspirin, or any headache medication, or any kind of medication. Medication for 1 point. I just showed you my other one, so now I got to dig that back out again. I buried it. Peppermints, that counts, Caitlin. Is this this is the headache meds. Headache meds. Yes for Demi, no for Rebecca, yes for Barbara. All right, that was also 1 point. We're gonna go next with a comb or a brush in your purse. A comb or a brush in your purse. I got nothing. Tylenol, yes, that definitely counts, Caitlin. All right.
That's awful.
Nothing. Nobody cares about. Nobody's got.
I keep a first aid kit with me in my car, so I've got that sort of stuff in my first aid kit.
That's awesome.
I don't keep it in my purse.
That
No
makes sense
brushes.
because when the paramedics are coming, you want to brush your hair.
Yeah, absolutely. It totally
Really
makes sense. All right. What about a safety pin? Anyone have a safety pin in your purse?
In my purse, no.
Wow, Lana, we're not doing so great with you, are we?
Yeah, I've got like, well, I told you what I got in my purse. So.
I don't have a safety pin.
I've got that in my first aid kit.
No, you? Oh, good. You should.
Debbie
has a small sewing kit. Caitlin has nothing. Okay. All right, Demi. Point for you on that one. All right. How about a store rewards or a discount card? The store card. Don't ask me why. Now I'm gonna ask you why. Why you have no pins? What about a store or a discount card, or like the Safeway or Kroger?
I've got a gift card. Does that count?
Is it for one of those stores?
Yeah, it's for my food co-op.
Oh, sure. That
sounds like.
Ooh, I finally got a point.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
We got Pick and Save. We've got a store reward card. Nope for Caitlin. Pick and Save, and is that Wisconsin, Barb?
That used to be in Arizona. Pick and Save, didn't it? Yeah. I don't know if they still are.
I've never seen them. Where did I see that one? Okay, that was also fun. Okay, moving on to 2. We've got, what about reading glasses?
How about if they're on your face?
I got the glasses case, but
I think that counts.
I need to keep them on my glass. I need to keep them on all the time.
They need to be on the face. Okay, what about that was for 2 points, so you got 2 points on that one. What about...
Oh, does sunglasses count?
Sunglasses is my next one. 2 points for sunglasses.
Oh,
Spare reading glasses for Demi, and Barbara's are purple. I love it. I love it. All right, sunglasses. Sunglasses is the next one for 2 points.
there we go.
There we go. Yes, for Demi. What about, let's go into the 3 points. Here's the sewing kit. Demi, the entire sewing kit is 3 points. So if you're keeping track, you can adjust that. No sunglasses. They're in my car. My mom has glasses cases. I like it. That'll count. We're pretty generous here. I really I like it. Okay, 5 points. 5 points.
Ooh.
Restaurant gift card.
Oh.
Huh.
Rebecca does not have a brush. She has no hair. That's fair. I guess that saves you some time in the morning. All right, gift card.
I'm trying to think of a way we can give her points on that anyway.
Yeah, that.
So if there's hand lotion in there and you put hand lotion on your head, maybe.
I got gift cards. My husband's birthday was not too long ago, and we don't have a whole lot of restaurants up here in our like chain restaurants in our small town.
What chain is that?
Oh, it's Texas Roadhouse.
Oh.
So we don't have a whole lot of those up here. So whenever we go down to the Phoenix area, then we have. We got bagels. Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yum.
Yes, it does.
Caitlin has an emergency sewing kit. Demi says, I have no idea where the sewing kit goes. That's why we can't ask. Okay. No gift cards. Okay, what about Texas Roadhouse is a favorite. Love those rolls. Yes, they are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
What about... How about, like, I saw something super specific when I was looking. It's not on this list, but for 5 points, For 5 points, I'd like a receipt that's between $10 and $20.
Goodness.
No.
Does anyone have a receipt between $10 and $20
Nope.
in your purse? I think I might, actually. After they took off the points for the milk. Let's see.
I always have receipts in my purse because my husband has me fill out the fries, but not now because I've been staying on top of that.
Look at you.
I got a receipt for my new glasses, but that was like a lot more than $20.
I think this one is $16. I can't see that, but $16.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, and one last one for 10 points. How about a pet treat? Like a dog biscuit or a kitty something for your pet. Oh, it's 21. Any 21. So close. Does anyone have a deck of cards, though? Another item. I have not an idea where it came.
Well, it's not in my purse unless I grab it and throw it in my purse. But I have these little mementos of my lovely pets, which are no longer with me.
Oh,
Mike goes, "Why do you still have those?" And I go, "Because I remember them."
Oh, that's sad. I have back to church Sunday invitations for Sunday.
You know what Naomi had on for our last purse contest? A used Kleenex. I put Kleenexes in my purse and another Kleenex ready to just blow my nose.
And you were ready for me.
I was ready for you.
Oh, your pets are in heaven too. I'm sorry.
I didn't need it.
I know. I'm like, well, I did those before, so we got to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah. You and your games, you're really innovative.
Oh, thanks. But that's all we had today. Oh, we've got more private chats. Hold on. Oh, there it is. I see all of your chats, ladies. Here you are. See, I wasn't even paying attention. I told you to do this. I didn't even pay attention. Here we go. Not a safety pin in the house. Okay.
Yeah. Caitlin, my pets are in heaven too.
That's sad.
All good dogs and cats go to heaven. So I'm not really sure if the cat was saved or not.
Is this the one that bit you? And
she really needed to come to Jesus. Yeah, she bit me many times.
Oh my goodness. What else did I got in there? Okay, here we are. Oops, I got to go to church dinner. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for spending some time with us. And yeah, congratulations, Lana, on this book. We're excited for how it's going to affect people and how people's faiths will grow through this. I think that'd be amazing. I love it. So
thank you.
And when is the actual release day?
September 23rd, next Tuesday.
Oh, goodness, finally.
So it's out there for September 23rd. Make sure you're following Lana at lanachristian.com and on her different socials to get all the information. If you're tuning in for the replay, make sure you're commenting through the weekend. And then your name will be entered into a draw for an Amazon gift card. And yeah, so we'll pop back on here and there throughout the weekend and interact with you. But we're so thankful for all of you readers who come and make this group so enjoyable and fun, and we can have our silly times together too, but we can also get real serious about books, talking about the Bible, and we just love doing that. So
it's really fun to see so many of you in the live. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for being so faithful on that. I know I love chatting with Lana and the different authors, and it's really special that you're all showing up. And you're so consistent on that, and we're so grateful. Mm-hmm. So we will see you around. Make sure you're doing all the comments, and we will see you around online.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your dedication. Thank you, Demi. We're so glad that you're a part of BFA. All of you are so special to us. We're so thankful. So we will see you around.